Hi guys, so yesterday saw some good news and some bad news. The good news being the intervention of the European Court of Human Rights to issue an injunction against the deportation of asylum seekers to Rwanda. The bad news, this has galvanized the ignorant and the racist against, wait for it, the European Union. Now let me start off by saying that the European Court of Human Rights has nothing to do with Brexit. It is not a European Union entity. It has nothing to do with the European Union. It includes countries like Turkey and Ukraine, and it used to have Russia as a member. But don't let facts like that get in the way of a good Brexit-fueled hate fest by GB News.
What I don't understand is why this was obeyed. I am insistent that they didn't have to obey this, because the European Court of Human Rights, that what they say does not have direct application in law in this country.
Now, this is interesting, and this is an interesting tangent here for a moment. We'll get to the Brexit stuff in a moment. The idea that why did the UK government go ahead with this? If the European Court of Human Rights does not have direct intervention, now it's important to remember that the UK is signed up to the European Court of Human Rights. And once again, it's nothing to do with Brexit, nothing to do with the EU. But why did Priti Patel, who's ultimately responsible for this through the Home Office, why did she go ahead with these why did she go ahead with removing these people from the plane? And I think, in a sense, it was to galvanize the racists and bigots against something that's not her. If you look at over the last number of months, the racists and bigots in Britain have been angry with Priti Patel because they believe she was not doing enough. Some of them were happy with her, but a lot of them were angry. They said, you know, we Brexited, but we still see these people coming across the sea. Why aren't you sending them back? Why aren't you taking more draconian measures? And this was one of these draconian measures. And I don't know whether this was by design or by accident, but the intervention of the European Court of Human Rights, what has it done? It has made the racists and bigots shift their anger from Priti Patel to the European Union, to Europe. Now, of course, there's nothing to do with the European Union, but you're not going to hear Brexiteers make that correction.
My understanding, and I may have got this wrong, is that it triggered another wave of last-minute interventions. I don't know if that's correct.
That's irrelevant at this stage. The anger, the petrol has already been lit. The anger is towards Europe, not to whether we've moved even away from the lawyers. Remember, they were talking about being angry with lawyers. Well, now it's gone to Europe once again. And you know, this has nothing to do with the European Union.
But I think it was the sort of straw that broke the camel's back. But it's so fascinating that you think we should have just ignored the ECHR. Yeah. And certainly our inbox is just, how can we, in post-Brexit Britain, still be beholden to
Once again, these people, when they hear Europe, they think Brexit. When they hear European Court of Human Rights, they think Brexit. When they think European conventions, European Court, whatever, they think Brexit. And they're like, but weren't we supposed to remove all of this European stuff? The UK is signed up to the European Court of Human Rights. Ukraine is as well. Turkey as well. Russia used to be. Nothing to do with the European Union.
Point. And although it's not an EU thing, it's a Council of Europe thing. Now, I was virulently opposed to it because in the old days, and I suppose there's still some of them left, the ECHR consisted of a lot of civil servants from communist regimes who then suddenly sat in judgment over the human rights in this country. And I have to tell you, it's a terrible thing. It was never intended to deal with countries like us.
And here we have it. Here we have the light racism. Here we have the British exceptionalism, the imperialistic mentality. It was never designed to deal with people like us because we are above that. We don't, you know, we're not a tin pot dictatorship. We don't infringe on people's human rights. It was never intended for us. It was intended for themans. It was intended for, you know, these, how can we describe, I'm not going to use the terms. This was the, you know, it's the backward countries. The countries that Donald Trump referred to in a particular way. This is what he's trying to get at here. It was nothing to do with Britain, because Britain is a shining light of democracy and human rights. Well, it used to be, or people will disagree on that on that as well. But it's now been used against us. How can that be possible? Is this guy trolling us? Is he being ironic or what?
What it was intended to do was to ensure that other countries didn't slip back into some kind of Nazism, you know.
Slipping back. Oh my goodness.
Fanaticism. It was never, but it's really a classic clever idea that, like a boomerang, comes back and hits you in the mush.
And it does, by acknowledging it, it gives Europe a lot of power, morally and intellectually.
Nothing to do with the European Union. Once again, Ian Holmes and these Brexiteers, they hear the word Europe and they think, oh, Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. They hear the word European Court. Oh, it must be to do with Europe. And of course, he starts talking about Brexit here. Nothing to do with Brexit. As I said, Russia used to be a member of the European Court of Human Rights. How has that got to do with Brexit or the European Union? Are these people that stupid? Are they that ignorant? They can't do a 2-minute research on what is the European Court of Human Rights.
I suppose as well, and we talk about the protocol amendments that have been going on this week. Surely that emboldens Europe to challenge those.
Of course, and that's why either they admit that they decided to show respect. Always a bad idea, showing respect. But they decided they would show respect for the ECHR, though they don't really feel any. Or they should say, we didn't have to do this, because otherwise I think we're in, what's the point of having a Supreme Court? When here's a question supreme. For you. Yes, exactly. Yes. He got it. Okay. When is the Supreme Court not supreme? It's a joke. Yeah.
You sign up to certain conventions, like the United Nations conventions, and you're supposed to respect those as a country, as a advanced society. It's like saying, why should I follow any rules because, well, I don't like them? This is the Brexiteer mentality. Well, we sign up to things, but then we decide we want to pick and choose. And now there's talk by Brexiteers, of course, of withdrawing from the European Court of Human Rights. Now, the problem with that is that it would affect the Good Friday Agreement. Now, I don't think that the UK is going to withdraw from the European Court of Human Rights, but this ruling, or this injunction, I should say, has served its purpose for the Brexiteers and the racists and the bigots. It has galvanized them against Europe. Because, remember, you're not going to hear Brexiteers come out and say, no, it's not the European Union, it's this guy, hinted at it. But most of the language over the next number of days will not be, remember, this is not the European Union, it's something different. They won't be making that correction. Their hatred will be towards Europe. And you'll be hearing about how Brexit will, we didn't get Brexit done because we're still part of this European thing. Anything with the word Europe in it is bad. And it must be undone because of Brexit. And both politicians and commentators will not make the correction, will not make the differentiation between the European Court of Human Rights and the EU, because it serves their purpose. They're happy. Yes, we've made the Brexiteers and racists and bigots angry now, and we can direct that anger at Europe. It doesn't matter if they don't know the difference between the European Court of Human Rights and the EU. It's done its job, and it's taken the heat off the Home Office. It's taken the heat off Priti Patel, and we've succeeded. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.